Have you noticed that in a long chat, AI may not only forget things, can also start feeling slower? Today we explain a slightly technical but very important idea: key value cache, usually called KV cache. First, remember that a language model does not produce a whole answer in one shot. It generates one small piece at a time. Before it writes the next piece, it looks back at the pieces that already exist and asks, should come next. That look back mainly happens inside attention. Think of it as searching through a pile of sticky notes for relevant clues. Each earlier token leaves two kinds of notes. One kind acts like an index. The other kind carries the useful content. The new token uses its question to match those indexes, then pulls information from the matching content notes. Without a cache, every new token would force the model to rebuild those index notes and content notes for all earlier tokens. That is like writing an essay but copying your whole notebook again after every new word. Possible, but wasteful. KV does something simple. It stores the already computed index notes and content notes from earlier tokens. When a new token arrives, the model only computes the new notes for that token, then appends them to the cache. So KV cache does not make the model smarter. It mostly removes repeated work. When a long prompt first enters the model still has to process the whole prompt once. This builds the cache. After that cache exists, answer generation can reuse the intermediate results from the previous tokens. That is why the first wait after a long prompt can feel heavy, while the answer then streams out more smoothly. But here is the real question. Cache helps. Why do long conversations still get slower? Because the cache removes repeated computation, not all computation. Each new token still compares against more and more old indexes. The longer the chat, the longer the line of old tokens. Every new step has more past context to look across. Memory is another cost. Every layer, every attention head, and every earlier token stores related vectors. So a longer context means a larger cache. If many users are served together, each active conversation needs cache space. When memory gets tight, the system may move, compress, or swap cache blocks, and speed becomes less predictable. There is also a cache invalidation problem. If you regenerate from an early point or rewrite the earlier context, the later cache cannot be reused directly. Cache belong to the old context. Change the context, and the later intermediate results must be rebuilt. Important detail. KV cache is not long-term memory. It is temporary machine state for the current generation process. If you close the session, switch model, or move to another machine, that cache usually disappears. Persistent memory is a separate system. Its relation to the context window is this. The window decides how much material the model can see. Cache decides whether earlier computation can be reused. Its relation to RAG is also simple. Retrieved documents still have to enter the prompt and become cache before generation can use them efficiently. Engineers optimize this with tricks like page detention, fewer key value heads, cache compression, or sliding windows. For everyday users, the conclusion is direct. Long chats are not free. Shorter, more relevant context is usually faster and more stable. Remember the simple picture. KV cache is the model's temporary box of sticky notes. It saves recopying work, but too many notes still fill the desk.